Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am talking about another Ferris wheel press product. This is the ink charger set and it is the Bookshoppe collection. So these ink charger sets, they are 3 5 ml glass vials of ink. And this set contains 3 colours: Peter Moss, Wonderland in Coral, which is the sparkling ink, and Storied Blue, as it is the Bookshoppe collection. The idea is that the vials are a good size to use to fill from a converter, or use a glass dip pen, those kinds of things, and you get 5 mils of ink, which allows you to have a pretty decent sort of play with that ink. The 3 in this set, as I said, are Peter Moss, Wonderland in Coral, and Storied Blue. You can see Wonderland in Coral is this shimmer ink, and it's got a lot of this very nice light silver shimmer in it. I think Peter Moss is a very lovely sort of earthy green, and Storied Blue a nice kind of dusty blue-grey kind of color, and it's a really interesting set. Like I like the fact that there's no sort of like standard ink color in there, although of course Ferris wheel press have a range of ink colors that sort of cater for whatever you need. So I'm going to show these on a couple of different kinds of paper. I'm going to then sort of give a couple of thoughts. So here on Tomoe River paper, this is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper, I have the 3 inks, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each one very quickly, and then I'll show a color-corrected image next to it, and we can get going. Okay, so as I start with Peter Moss, this is an interesting color. There's some nice depth to the green. It's not a foresty green, it's kind of more an earthy green. I think the moss element of its title is very clear there. With Wonderland in Coral, it's actually hard to pick up on camera because of that shimmer. So, you know, I think the photo will show less of the shimmer, more of the color, but you can see the shimmer really sparkling here. It's a very light coral color. I think this would be a harder color to use in terms of like everyday writing, and because it's a shimmer ink, you're less likely to be able to use it for, you know, art and things like that, because it loses some of its element of what makes it special. So I think things like headers or anything you need to stand out on a page is probably a good use of this ink. And then Storied Blue, I think, is a beautiful color. It actually looks really great on this Tomoe River, where you get some of this darker sort of shading coming through. The lighter shading is a bit light, but generally speaking, like in a pen, it actually writes fairly well. And these inks perform pretty well. They're not super, you know, like permanent or anything like that. But yeah, they perform well. They look great on the page. And another page I have them on here is Rhodia. And you can see here what I've done is I've just written with the ink. I've done a little, like, you know, smear of the ink. And then I've done a water test. You can see each of them actually performs okay. They're not permanent, but you get like at least enough of the information left behind. So I drew these up. I put some water on it, left there for a minute, and then dabbed it up with a paper towel. So Peter Moss performs well. We get a nice sort of darker grey sort of coming left behind there. Wonderland in Coral is kind of a bit strange. It sort of stays the same colour, just a lighter version of itself, which is good. And then Storied Blue, it's just a nice, once again, a grey that's come left behind, and they've done a decent job. Like, they perform relatively well. If you look at the reverse of this page, like, nothing comes through, nothing's bleeding. And these are done with like a glass dip pen, so you actually get a bit of a bit more ink on the page. And so I'm quite impressed with the quality of these inks, and the other inks I've used from Ferris wheel press in the past, I've been super impressed by as well. So now if we're going to talk about these, like the packaging, I think with Ferris wheel press is probably one of the biggest strengths of the brand, and they've done an amazing job creating branding that actually, you know, is super effective and super, you know, recognizable. You can see that the little vials are very beautifully printed. I'll just take one out to sort of show you in a bit more sort of detail. So we get, please use creatively, 5 mils made in Canada. These little charger sets are supposed to like be reminiscent of batteries. Ferris wheel press, Like, they're beautiful, and the branding is amazing, and I said, the cardboard has this very lovely sort of plush, almost sort of like a rubbery feel to it. Ferris Wheel Press do a really, really wonderful job of branding, and this is across the board, because their products are not cheap. Like, for what they are, their products come at a kind of a premium price. And yet their marketing and their branding and everything has set them up in a way that people will pay for them. Like in Australia, this set, these 5ml vials, 3 of them, costs $25 Australian. You can buy it for about $15 US. So the US price is about $5 US for 5 mils of ink. That's getting up there. Like, to be honest, that is getting up there on what is actually like, acceptable. But with all the way these are presented, they make lovely gifts, they perform well, all of that kind of thing, they're interesting, and so people are happy to pay for it. And I think if I was wanting nice gifts for a fountain pen friend that, were interesting and gave them options, these are the things, you're not just getting 1 ink, you're getting 3 inks that you can play with and learn to love. And then you can, if you love a particular one of these, like if Peter Moss is your absolute perfect green, then you can buy the bigger bottle of that. So Ferris Wheel Press have done an amazing job creating an image that is kind of has forged their place in the market here in the fountain pen world. So as I said, this is a really lovely ink charger set, the Bookshoppe collection. The inks perform well, they look great on the page, they do everything they're designed to do, and the packaging and the presentation is so on point. So lovely. Peter Moss, Wonderland in Coral, and Storied Blue. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications button if you want to stay up to date with the videos that I produce. Please feel free to get in touch using any of the platforms listed below. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at @the_offstage_me, or you can contact me on any of my videos here, or drop me an email, which is listed down below. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you'd like to support the channel by sponsoring a review or providing an item for review, I would love to hear from you. A big thank you to Inked Pens here in Australia, a retailer who stocks the Ferris Wheel Press items. They sent me this ink charger set for the purpose of this video free of charge, and I'm very grateful and thank them for their ongoing support of this channel. In the meantime, enjoy your inks, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.